My best friend is dating my abuser and wants me to reconcile with him, so I kicked her out of my home. I need a counselor to feel safer. Story 1. I've tried to write this out for days now, but I keep getting too upset to concentrate, so this might be a bit jumpy. I don't have family in the sense many understand family to be. So I've been pretty much a loner with one exception, my best friend Tammy. We met in middle school and just became joined at the hip. Things changed a bit in college. My parents forced me into a Christian out-of-state college. Tammy applied and got accepted to the other college in the town, so we both went out there and were roommates for 2 of the years before I met my first ever boyfriend. I will call him Trent. I moved in with him the end of junior year, and I don't know when it started happening, but he went from charming and affectionate to controlling. I don't wish to upset anyone, so I will hit the pause button and warn you that below is some of the things he did for me to label him abusive. He would put me down and hint he could find someone better, or that if he cheats, it will be my fault since I wasn't this or that enough. It started to get physical senior year. At first it was him pushing me out of the way if he was walking by and I was in the path for whatever reason. Then he would slap me in arguments, calling me worthless, a waste of his time and young years, a broken toy no one will love. I didn't have any real self-esteem, so I stayed, thinking I was the problem, and when I called home about it, I was told that the problem was me. I started to make my exit plan the day after I graduated. He had proposed, and I hesitated, and he screamed at me to ask why, then her swung and punched the wall right next to my head. I fell to the floor in fear, and he tried to comfort me and basically forced me into sex. When I woke up the next morning, the ring was on my finger, and he forced me again and later called it make-up sex, saying he forgave me for the way I treated him. That is the extremely short explanation, but there are so many stories of him forcing me into bed, hitting me or threatening to kill me, and more. So, I started to make a plan. I found a shelter in the city nearby. I started hiding things in the trunk of my car. I was in the service industry then, and so I would take more shifts whenever I could and hide my cash tips in a box of tampons in my purse. And I finally was ready and left my phone. I had a new cheap one, and never went back. Tammy knew him and lived near us, but she didn't know about my plan. She messaged me on social media and I told her what happened. All of what happened. So she played dumb when he came around asking where I was, spinning the story that I was suicidal and he is calling the police to find me. He never found me. That was years ago. I am now 36, and Tammy is too. Trent is 38. Tammy became a bit religious, but I told her as long as she is happy and safe, I don't care what she leans on in faith. She started to invite me out to her church 4 years ago, and I kept saying no until I very firmly said if she brought it up again, I would just walk out or hang up. I'm not against anyone believing what they want, I just don't want or need to be sucked into it. I honestly do not mean any offense to anyone of any faith. I myself am just agnostic, and if that ever will change, I will decide on my own, but I doubt it will. She got a job 2 years ago overseas. I acted excited for her and I was also deeply devastated. Without her, I had no one else. By this time, I wasn't in contact much with family, and I do have surface level friends, but no one that's known me in the real sense. I worked it out with my counselor and just carried on. We stayed in touch online and video chatted a lot. She would show me London and I would show her my transition to moving to Texas. We would chronicle our explorations of our new cities, and then one day it started to slow down on her end right around the time she went to visit a friend in our old college town. She then asked if she flew to Texas sometime this summer, could she stay with me a few days, and I excitedly agreed. So early this month, just a few weeks ago, she came here. She was off the whole first day, but I figured she was tired. Then the next day, we went out and got drunk. She started to cry and I got us an Uber back to my place and asked her what was wrong. That's when she asked me not to hate her and told me everything. She's with Trent. She's been with him almost a year. I was too stunned to even say anything, and she went on and on about how it's not what I think and he has changed. She told me he found Jesus and turned his life around and deeply regrets the way he treated me. The more she talked, the more I just shut off. I didn't even have it in me to feel anger. I just stared at her frozen as she talked until she said, "Please just say something." So I did. I told her to get the fuck out. She started to explain it all again. She hated him forever, but they kept running into each other. He goes to church and showed he has changed, bloody blah. I didn't interrupt her, but when she stopped talking again, I just repeated myself. She argued more, and I would just listen and repeat until she grabbed her stuff and left. It was silent between us for a week until my dad texted me that Tammy called my parents crying and told me to get over myself. After all, it's not like I wanted to get back with him, right? And that's what I get for living with a man I wasn't married to. Then she texted the next week rehashing her argument and pretty much demanding I video chat with him to see for myself that he's changed and forgive him. She then blamed me that they can't take the next steps in their relationship because I don't have a forgiving heart and that I was malicious when I kicked her out. I spend all of this week trying to figure out if I am insane to think this is a huge betrayal. A deal breaker. I mean, who even dates their friend's ex, for one, but this. I blocked her after she hinted that my version of things was exaggerated and malicious, but I don't have other friends to turn to about this. I don't think I am, but and her family thinks I am TAH at least for kicking her out in a strange city alone when she was just being honest with me. Am I? New update. This is an update to my last post. Sorry to everyone who reached out and I haven't responded. I honestly haven't been using the app as I had to change phones swiftly at one point and forgot the password when trying to log on my new device. It took Trent 2 weeks. I had a full-time job but also a part-time service industry job as a bartender. He showed up at the bar. It's a small bar and one of the regulars, Daisy, F30S, is one of the folk I did confide in about Trent and Tammy. When Trent walked in, I happened to be chatting with Daisy and she saw my reaction. She asked what was wrong and I told her that it was Trent. She wasted no time and went to get my manager. Trent sat at the end of the bar and I took my time checking in on my other bar guests until my manager Heather F50S came out with the other 2 bartenders, both M30S. Trent had already begun knocking on the bar asking for service loudly and I had been ignoring him. He got kicked out quickly and told that we can and do refuse service to him. I got text from a new number saying it was Tammy and begging for me to answer. She called 4 times and I didn't answer. She left voicemails with Trent and one without all telling me that I was concerning them with my hatefulness, how I am alone in the world and that's not safe, who would I turn to if someone broke into my home at night, things of that nature and religious crap sprinkled in. I was still on the clock and Daisy suggested I stay at her parents'. I know her mom who sometimes comes with her to the bar. At that point I was shaken enough to take them up on it. Daisy's mom, Rose F60S, has been sweet enough to let me stay rent-free for as long as I needed, but I eventually moved in with one of the servers at the bar. She helped me look for legal representation and I filed for a restraining order using screenshots I had emailed myself prior, old voicemails, and though we could not prove harassment on Tammy's end, Trent had said enough in the voicemails and messages he had sent that it qualified for a temporary restraining order. I am safe for now and the hearing is in January. No one knows where I live currently and I've shut down all social media. I've been NC with my family as they've been pushing me to give my address so they can send Christmas gifts, but when I gave them a P.O. box Daisy is allowing me to use, they got angry it wasn't an address and that was suspicious enough for me not to trust them. It's strange but I am slowly making friendships. And seeing a counselor helps with the stress. Trent is pretty much blacklisted from the square of bars where my bar is, word gets around. I've not walked alone a single shift since. And that's my update. Not perfect, but I remembered my password when I was checking my email for any additional stuff to send to my lawyer and wanted to let every person concerned about me that I am okay. When this is resolved I will try to update with more detail. Relevant comments. Commenter. That's messed up. It's like she's trying to guilt you into letting her back into your life. She's playing the victim, but she's the one who's wrong. She's the one who chose to be with your abuser. She's the one who's trying to manipulate you. You're doing the right thing by staying away from her. You're doing the right thing by protecting yourself. Don't let her guilt you into anything. You deserve better. You deserve to be safe. You deserve to be happy. Commenter. I am so sorry that you have to go through this. Daisy seems like an amazing person, and her kindness really sticks out to me in your 2 posts. You handled everything so well, you are incredibly strong. I'm glad you are seeing a counselor. If you are based in the USA, please request a takedown of your information from white pages, so no one can find your information further. Commenter. Oh, baby. You are so brave and strong. So glad that there are people around taking care of you. Stay strong OP, sorry to read that you have one of those fing wonderful Christian families daughter to be there to serve her men, after all, you can't be raped, as you belong to him. And a worthless mother who believes that shit as well. Do yourself a favor, OP, buy a powerful firearm, get trained to use it, and get your concealed carry license. The dandy duo friends of yours are attempting to threaten and harass you. It's smart to anticipate the worst. By the way, what's with your GF and the drunkenness? Didn't think that Christian would subscribe. Appears Trent follows suit, eh? Commenter. I hope you have cameras set up at your new home. Tammy is a monster. She is so naive and brainwashed by her religion that she is endangering your life. Trent is a violent abuser who is now stalking you. He got with her so he could have access to you. Your parents aren't safe and trustworthy, and I am glad you know it too. Christians like them are nothing but abusers. Commenter. That's exactly what happened. Stupid Tammy thinks she in love when all she is to Trent is a means to op. I don't buy that they kept running into each other either. Trent saw Tammy was back and started stalking Tammy hoping she would lead him to op. They don't need op's blessing to have a relationship with each other. There's no need to keep harassing op. Wanting forgiveness is just a flimsy excuse for Trent to keep stalking op. If he'd really changed, he'd respect that op can't be around someone who repeatedly raped and abused her and leave her alone. Getting angry BC someone you victimized wants no contact with you is the opposite of being a changed person. Commenter. Interesting how Tammy tried to isolate you by claiming you have no one to help you. And then it turns out you have Daisy, and Rose, and your boss and co-workers, and the people who run the surrounding bars. Classic abuser tactics. Sadly, she must be learning from Trent. Stay strong. You've got this. Story 2. AITA for refusing to take my girlfriend back after she cheated, just to see if she still had it. I, 30 years old, have been dating my girlfriend, Rachel, 27 years old, for 2 years. She's always been confident and charismatic, which is one of the things I loved about her. Our relationship seemed solid, good communication, lots of shared interests, and we were even talking about moving in together. A few weeks ago, Rachel admitted to me that she cheated on me during a night out with her friends. She hooked up with some guy she met at a bar. I was completely blindsided. When I asked her why she did it, she said it wasn't about me or our relationship but because she wanted to see if she still had it. I told her that was a terrible excuse, and she started crying, saying it was a stupid mistake and that she regretted it immediately. She's begged me to forgive her, saying she learned her lesson and that it would never happen again. But I can't get over the fact that she was willing to risk our relationship for something so shallow. She didn't cheat because she was unhappy or because there was a problem between us. She cheated purely to stroke her ego. Now, Rachel and some of our mutual friends are calling me unforgiving, saying that everyone makes mistakes and that I'm throwing away a great relationship over one bad choice. They say I should focus on her remorse and give her another chance. I feel like staying with her would mean betraying my own boundaries, but I'm starting to wonder if I'm being too harsh. AITA for refusing to take her back. Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. Congrats, you still have it, but you sure as hell don't have me. The mutual friends are just as trashy as her. You'd be crazy to take her back. Commenter. It's time to go. A year, 5 years, 10 years, and 2 kids from now, she's still going to wonder if she still has it when she sees a cute guy. Does she still have the ability to find a guy that will have sex with her? Yes, she'll probably have that for a long time. Does she still have the ability to make a serious long-term monogamous relationship work? It looks like she never did. NTA. Commenter. What friends are saying this garbage? Those are not mutual friends, those are her delusional friends, and you need to block them all. Or see if you still got it and hook up with one of them and see how you ex feels. Keep your head up, king. Relevant comments. Commenter. They don't like you, and that is the only way they can actually get that across without looking like haters. But they look like haters anyway. You're not an asshole. They are bullying you like middle schoolers. Also, I love the name Dove. Commenter. NTA. It's an uncommon name, and people are entitled to their opinion for sure, but what kind of sad, empty lives must her MIL and SIL have if they spend that much time and effort hating other people's names? My nephew has a middle name, I think, is ridiculous, but I keep that opinion to myself and certainly don't mock him or his parents for it. I sure as heck don't spend my time in we groups mocking folk for their names or going through school class lists. What tragic, pathetic people they must be. I feel so sorry for you and your husband. You're poor FIL for having to be married to / the father of tossers like that. Ignore these buffoons. They aren't worth the effort of having them in your life unless they change their ways. Commenter. NTAH. They are shallow and hateful people. Your husband has dealt with them all his life and they are his blood relatives and he is planning to cut them out. You're only TA if you don't follow his lead on this. As for FIL. Well, he married MIL, stayed married to her, and helped raise the little harpy of a sister. If I were you, I'd let him know you will always make room for him when he's ready to leave, and do just that. I suspect if he's got a place to move to he may not be very hesitant to finally ditch the bitch. FIL is sharing information behind her back. Your husband is done dealing with her. Listen to the people with experience here. Cut her and her spiteful complaining gossip out and be done with it. Story 3, AITA for telling MIL and SIL their obsession with hating my name is weird. My MIL and SIL have this real intense hatred for my name. It's become an obsession to the point they are in groups on different parts of the internet and mock my name, comment on how embarrassing it is to be associated with me, etc. My FIL is the reason my husband and I know this. He has grabbed screenshots and forwarded them to my husband to show just how bad this is. My name's Dove. I always loved my name. But they think it's weird and a tragedy. They have a few groups they're a part of and their only contribution is to mention me and my name and how awful my name is and how awful my parents are for choosing this as my name. This stuff does spill over into in-person interactions. My MIL spent a month trying to call me Diane because she felt that calling me a normal name would be a positive. My husband shut her down and said she either had to use my name or not see us, and he didn't care what she picked but they were the only options. MIL and SIL, this is my husband's oldest sister, have pressed me on why I won't change my name legally and why I use my name in daily life. They are really judgmental about names in general. Whenever SIL's kids start in a new class, SIL and MIL go through the names on the class list and mock these kids for their names unless they approve of said names. A post recently made my husband say enough is enough and we won't see them again. They were critical about my name and the fact that I would be contributing to the name of all our future kids and how scary they find it because they don't want little tragedias being born into our family and how they have no faith that I won't have a bunch of little doves and become the female George Foreman. My husband told them it was disgusting that they were going on this internet hate campaign against me and my name and he was done. Their furious FIL has been feeding us all the info. And they're pissed I won't tell my husband it's okay. They confronted me in public and I told them their obsession with hating my name is weird and I don't want that poison around any kids I have. Which they also hated and apparently, according to FIL, they are still furious I said that to them. ITA. Relevant comments. Commenter. Well, all the ones who say you are turning your back, why aren't they volunteering to babysit as Lisa needs help? You are not punishing the kids, their parents should be spending quality time with them. Your sister is not only very entitled but has always taken you for granted and did not respect your wishes during your wedding. NTA. Commenter. Let's forget about the wedding disrespect for now. The truth is you have a life that does not revolve around her and her kids. Even if she respected your wishes on your wedding day, you're still not obligated to babysit. Let those taking her side also take her kids. Commenter. NTA. Crisis is another word for emergency. Is she having an emergency? Doesn't sound like it. Here's an example. Her husband is in a head-on with another car in another state. Yes, YWBTA for not helping. You are not her nanny or au pair. You don't owe her crap or a cracker. I hate family helps family crap when it's used for this BS. Stand your ground. You don't owe anyone anything. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day. Story 4, AITA for refusing to babysit my sister's kids after what she did at my wedding. Hi, so this whole thing has been blowing up in my family and I don't even know where to start. I'm 26 years old, married for about 6 months now to my husband, 28 years old, and honestly, I thought everything was fine between me and my older sister, 33 years old. Let's call her Lisa. Growing up, Lisa was always the favorite. My mom would bend over backwards to help her with anything, whether it was money, school, or her kids. She has 3. I'm not saying Lisa's a bad mom or anything, but she leans hard on the family for support. And me? I'm just that free babysitter. Well, when me and my husband were planning our wedding, I made it clear it was our day. I didn't want drama, I didn't want chaos, and I told Lisa, nicely, that I didn't want her kids at the ceremony. The reception, sure, but the ceremony was going to be small and intimate, just 40 people. She flipped out about it but finally said, fine, whatever, do what you want. Fast forward to the wedding day. I'm standing at the altar, holding my husband's hands, and guess what I hear? A baby scream. I look over, and there's Lisa, trying to shush her 3-year-old who's having a meltdown right there in the middle of my vows. I was furious but kept my cool in the moment. After the ceremony, I pulled her aside and was like, why did you bring them? I thought we agreed. She just laughed and said, you didn't mean it. They're family. I told her she disrespected me and my husband, and she needed to leave the reception if she couldn't keep the kids under control. My mom, of course, took her side, saying I was being dramatic and, kids will be kids. So I guess I'd already been harboring some resentment, but here's where the real issue starts. A week ago, Lisa texted me saying she needs me to watch her kids for the weekend because her and her husband want a much-needed break. I told her no, I had plans, which I did, but even if I didn't, it's not my responsibility. She called me selfish, saying I owed her because family helps family. I snapped. I told her I'm not her built-in babysitter, and after the wedding stunt, she should be the one apologizing to me. She got all huffy and told the whole family I'm punishing her kids for no reason. Now everyone's blowing up my phone, saying I'm cruel for turning my back on Lisa when she needs help. But I'm standing firm. I'm not a free babysitter, and I'm not gonna let her walk all over me anymore.